First of all, I know it's a crazy subject or idea, but it's very important. And before we get along, do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do, do what you gotta do. Subscribe, like, share, whatever. Because I know that you're going to enjoy this. Okay. How do I even start? I normally believe I'm a storyteller, but let's just get to the point of why I decided to make this video. So basically what happened is that towards the end of 2019, we thought that was the worst year ever, but apparently, so whatever. Towards the end of 2019, I just had a big old idea that 2020 was going to be my year of intentional love, if I can put it that way, where I just wanted to position myself to be in a space where I'm loving not necessarily for a romantic relationship, but for love in general, for what it is. Because I just think for the period 2018-2019, I experienced a lot of what I will call God's love, and that being modeled or lived out towards me by people that I knew and people that I didn't know at all. People who out of nowhere wanted to show love to me by giving me certain opportunities or whatever. So I just intentionally wanted to be the person who positions himself. At the time, I just thought I was gonna have a fuzzy feeling about it. I just didn't know how far it was going to carry me. So November, if it's not October, after having moved away from home in a stressful situation, living in a new country, I bought this book. Can you see it? Okay, this book is a book by Gary Chapman, and it talks about the 5 love languages, the secret to love that lasts. And in the dedication, in the acknowledgements, therefore, everything else about the book, he intentionally speaks about love for marriage or in marriage. I think his main idea is talking to people who are already married because of the narrative of the stories that are trying to drive the point across for each chapter. And he's writing this to people who are and people who are prospective, people who desire to be. So that's the angle of the book. So I read it and I just had a disconnection with it because it wasn't speaking to what I hoped it would do. But I did manage to extract it forcefully, like, okay, fine, you're not talking to me, you're not talking about me, but by force, by power, I bought this book, so why not? So the 5 love languages, according to Gary Chapman, are words of affirmation, number 1, number 2, acts of service, and number 3, receiving gifts, and number 4, quality time, and number 5, physical touch. Okay, I will talk about this in terms of the workplace context and top of my head situation. For you who may not know, I actually have a degree in psychology, and I used to work as an EAP consultant. So an EAP consultant is an employee assistance program consultant who works in workplace wellness program for assistance towards the assistance of employees in terms of doing, okay, not psychological assessments, but providing psychotherapy and counseling, and then referring them to what the assessments reveal they need help for. For example, you would be in a counseling session and you just realize that this is beyond or just above my pay grade, and you'd know that, oh, this needs legal action, so you refer them to police service, DCS, CMAC, whatever, conciliation, arbitration type of thing, or you just refer them to a doctor, medical doctor, So basically, that's what I used to do. So workplace management or workplace situations are things that I wouldn't say I'm an expert in, but I have some experience in. So in the workplace, it's quite stressful. I know that it's after COVID-19, some of us, some of y'all, and some of everybody elsewhere, even people who are employed right now, want to continue to go to work, and you want to, or you a person out of a job, you want a job, so you need a job. As you're praying, pray for the fire and the strength to carry it, because it's quite straightforward, it's quite dangerous sometimes, depending on where you are. If there are no certain precautions, because even AP sometimes is glorified. There aren't always enough resources to assist, and there's just so many things involved. So in the workplace, part one, this is part one, because I'm gonna get deeper if I find the time to do it. So words of affirmation. In the workplace, there's so many levels that we come into. We come in at entry level. Some people have already advanced in their career, they've like a lot of experience, so maybe they just changed from one job to another organization where you're trying to grow, and sometimes that transition is not so great because you're working for this in the same industry. For example, you're working for a bank. I may not be sure about this example, but I'm just going to make it anyway. You're working in the bank or financial industry, but you will just cover that organization by organization and type by the job description. That will come, and it's not going to be the same for everybody or for every level. So you may find difficulties in grasping company vision, job deliverables, blah, 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 so many things, so much. But in the midst of all of that, I think you do need words of affirmation. There's a position called supervisor, and that person who normally carries that is your way to win or lose the battle. So sometimes you need a person who's going to affirm you and encourage you to keep trying if you're not as good, or encourage you, because when you're constantly being rated low, even if I know that sometimes you do get to a new job, like I'm not gonna talk about me, but you get to a new place or you're working in a new place and you're just not getting it, or it's taking time, and there's one of two things. If you're constantly being battered down, even the things that you are doing good are being overlooked, that is going to cause a lot of confusion. And in the workplace, we need the love language of words of affirmation to encourage somebody to do better things, to improve, to do better, blah, blah, blah. So if there's a situation like that, sometimes it's not going to be the supervisor who gives you those words of affirmation, but if you're lucky enough to get someone, a friend or parent or somebody or colleague who's going to tell you, you know what, you're messing up, but at least this you're doing it right, so you could improve here and there. Because words of affirmation are important, sometimes unsolicited, but quite important. And then acts of service. In the workplace, we come to work and we work for money. A lot of people are then are gonna talk about, oh, do something that you love, but sometimes what you love doesn't pay the bills, so you gotta do a job that does the bills to be paid. So what does acts of service have to do with this? I personally, in my thinking about this, is that acts of service come in the form of going the extra mile, but not bending over, going beyond just performing your work deliverables, your tasks, that's it. Because at some point, even if you hate your job, because you have to go there every day, you're going to have to do something that's at least worth it. So in that way, take the initiative, learn more, so that you can serve better in your position that you currently have, even if it's not the best of all situations or whatever. And then receiving gifts. At work, it's so encouraging and great to receive a bonus or an acknowledgement or a thing. So receiving it is amazing. So if you can, or a supervisor or owner of a business, it's quite good. Time to give your people rewards, because that makes us still feel so special. Quality time. Okay, this is strange. So in the workplace, there's so many things that happen, and workplaces are not all the same. It's not always practical, depending on the size of organization, purpose of organization, blah blah, to have quality time with people, but quality time falls into issues or things like let me think, what is the name of this thing, team buildings, getting to know the people that you work with. Because I personally respect this. I personally feel like sometimes people are just colleagues, that's it. Like, no, we can't be more than this, we just work together. But there's some things that a quality time, at least you know that, oh, this is Lihle, which she lives in New Taipei. Like, you just know basically something about the person, and that's it. So I feel like it makes life better, even if that's the only thing you ever talk about, quality time. And there's a thing that, another example of quality time, that one of my favorite people in business, Richard Branson, does a monthly reward system where he, like, the employee of the month, or just randomly selects, I'm not sure what the system is, but he has lunch with the people and then has quality time. Because sometimes you're really encouraged to know that someone that you work for really cares about you. So spending quality time, team building parties, but it makes a difference. Physical touch, okay, not sexual harassment, don't go there, that's not who I am. But for me personally, physical touch means that a person's existence on a job, there's so many things, company vision, everything, but we gotta get paid, y'all. And I think a salary is the best form of physical touch in the workplace. So pay people what they're worth, pay people what is due to them. Like the Bible says, give honor where it is due. So if you're an employer, pay your people, guys. Like, don't even, you know, this man, COVID, you know what? COVID hit all of us. I'm not saying you gotta be perfect, but in terms of the existence of labor laws, work contracts, be honest, be careful, because that's what people are. They're giving themselves physically, so they need to be rewarded physically. So in my own opinion, I feel like the best form of physical touch in the workplace, give me my money on payday. If the payday is the 15th, give me my money. If payday is the 5th, give me my money. So, because you also want me to come in on time with my physical body, like, you know, even when I'm not well, whatever. So let me know what you think. I just talked about what I know, what I think, and maybe I'm not as loud. Just a crazy week of work, and I still have to go to work. So let me know what you think. That's all I have for you today. Make sure you love each other at work. If you're a boss, if you're an employee, Pelanawe, you know Pelanawe. Even you must show love to the people that you work for. Even if you don't like the job. Even if they also didn't want to hire you. But, okay, whatever. Bye.